This is the Lexington, a Tier 7 aircraft carrier. Yes, after the airstrike test a few months ago, American and Japanese carriers are back, and they're here to stay. Now, in addition to Tier 3 and Tier 5 carriers, we have Tier 7. These new carriers have significant differences and advantages over the Tier 5 variant, and in this video, we're going to cover all of that. So first, let's take a look at the setup for the ship and the commander. It's Ernest King. His base trait is I come prepared. It improves your ship's AA armament range. First inspiration is Yamaguchi. He increases your ship's AA armament damage. So between the two, you're getting the most out of your AA. As for the secondary inspiration, I selected Franz von Hipper to increase the secondary range and shell grouping of the secondary battery. So this is really your only defense if the enemy starts getting close to you and starts taking you out with either shells or torpedoes. Secondary is really all that you have unless you can get back and try to start dive bombing or torpedoing everybody, which is not really that great of a proposal. As for skills, the first skill is swatting with flies. It increases the damage of your aircraft carrier's AA armament again. The second skill is stronghold. It reduces damage to your aircraft carrier. The third skill is out of sight. It improves the concealment and maximum HP of your dive bombers. And this is the health of the dive bombers, not the amount of damage that is inflicted on a dive bomb hit. Down here, though, it Burn Baby Burn increases the damage and the fire setting chances of your plane's HE bombs. So this does affect the amount of bomb damage. So, damage from bombs and torpedoes in the test was not really all that great. And any advantage you can get as far as that goes is always something you want to look to configure. As far as legendary skills, I've selected Death from Above just to try it out. It increases your dive bomber's speed and it reduces the damage to your aircraft carrier, which sounds like a good thing, but it's only for as long as you're in the proximity of an ally, and that rarely happens in standard. Most of your teammates take off. I will note that Yamaguchi's legendary trait here says that it reduces the damage to your aircraft carrier for as long as you're in the proximity of an enemy, which is, I think, what you want, and I'm kind of hoping that this is a typo, but it may not be. As far as the upgrades go, the first upgrade is Flight Control Mod 1. It reduces the aircraft preparation time by 15%. You want to do this rather than secondary battery, which is only 10%, because you want your aircraft as available as quickly as possible while you're in battle. The second upgrade is a secondary battery, which increases the secondary battery range by 20%. This is preferable to the 10% of the first upgrade slot, I believe. The third upgrade is Concealment System Mod 1. It reduces the detectability range by 10%, and incoming fire dispersion, it increases that by 5%, and this is your only defense in a standard battle when your teammates ultimately leave you and you only have your low concealment and your secondary battery as your protection. The fourth upgrade is Air Groups Mod 3. Aircraft return speed is increased by 25%, which is good, assuming you have any aircraft that survive your dive bomb runs. Dive bombers and torpedo bombers HP is increased by 4%, and this is the health of your squadron. And I have the rest of the default upgrades selected here. The Helldiver dive bomber, the attack unit size is 3. That's kind of like the big deal with the Tier 7 aircraft carrier, as well as the 15 aircraft on deck. So as the aircraft are regenerating, you will ultimately see 15 aircraft on deck given a certain amount of time. And it's the same for the torpedo bombers. Again, the attack unit size is 3, aircraft on deck is 15. Without these upgrades, you will only have an attack unit size of 2, and I believe the aircraft on deck will be 10. The last upgrade is the hull, and it increases the hit points of the aircraft carrier up to 57,300. Okay, so let's look at the loadout. You can see here that there are the same consumables on the squadrons as for the Tier 5, namely the engine cooling consumable. And over here you have the fighter consumable. It patrols an area and automatically will attack any enemy aircraft. So as you're flying around, you deploy this consumable and it will hover around for 5 minutes in that general area and attack any enemy aircraft. So if I know that I'm being attacked by the opposing aircraft carrier, I will take off and drop one of these consumables over my aircraft carrier, and that doubles with the AA of the aircraft carrier to help you out even more. And it's really the same thing for the torpedoes. Under the consumables here, you see you have the damage control party and the fighter auto consumable. It follows the ship and automatically attacks enemy aircraft. It activates automatically whenever your aircraft carrier is spotted by an enemy. Each consumable duration is 600 seconds. As for the camouflage, I have Sci-Fi Space Camo from the Stellar Clash. It's a premium permanent camouflage which is maxed out at plus and minus 4.5% for CD detectability range and incoming fire dispersion. I'm using the Stellar Clash participation flag in honor of the Stellar Clash and the Sci-Fi Camo. As for the stats, hit points are 57,300. Torpedo damage reduction is 16%. Okay, so as far as the aircraft go, the torpedo bombers, the hit points for the squadron is 3770. Maximum speed is 145 knots. Attack unit size is 3. Aircraft per squadron is 6. Aircraft on deck is 15, which is a significant improvement over Tier 5 aircraft carriers. Aircraft restoration time is 68 seconds. The maximum torpedo damage is 6733. The torpedo speed is 38 knots. The torpedo range is 4 kilometers. As far as the dive bombers go, their hit points are 4437. Maximum speed 149 knots. Attack unit size is 3. Aircraft per squadron is 6. Aircraft on deck is 15. And the maximum bomb damage is 10,120 with a fire setting chance of 52%. Apparently the maximum bomb damage is if you citadel any ship that you hit, and I personally have not citadeled any ships whatsoever in this game, and I have played aircraft carriers quite a bit. As far as the artillery, your firing range is up to 6.1 kilometers, which is pretty good. Reload time is 6 seconds. 1,800 shell damage is, it's not great, but it is what it is. Here are the AA defenses. Maneuverability, maximum speed is 33 knots, which is pretty good. Rudder shift time is 15.6 seconds, but ultimately this doesn't really matter because for the most part you're going to be an autopilot. As far as concealment, your detectability range is down to 6.8 kilometers. As I recall, that's kind of the lowest on, I think it's the lowest on any of the American aircraft carriers. Let's look at the armor. You can see that most of the armor is 6 to 24 millimeters, especially on the hull of the ship, the deck of the ship, and the bridge structure. There's a little bit of thicker armor around on the side over here, but let's take a look at the Citadel. Okay, so you see here the Citadel does sit up kind of high, and this could be a problem, but I've also been in some matches where the ship has been a little bit more resilient than I would have expected. So We're just going to have to play this a little bit more and see how it goes, but you need to keep in mind that the Citadel does sit above the water here. Let's look at the overview. It has tough aircraft with above average HP pool, powerful AA defenses, above average AA gun firepower, the secondary reach, above average secondary battery range, and I think we certainly saw that. 6.1 kilometers is farther than I remembered. When commissioned, the Lexington was one of the largest aircraft carriers in existence. She was converted from an unfinished battle cruiser. The ship had good armor and advanced torpedo protection. Owing to her dimensions, the aircraft carrier was equipped with a very spacious hangar and was armed with numerous AA and dual-purpose artillery. The ship's powerful propulsion created very high speeds. She entered service in 1927. There were 2 ships in the series. The second ship, the Saratoga. Well, that's it for the commander and the ship setup. Let's take it out in a standard battle and look at some highlights. Okay, we're in standard. You can see we're in crash zone. And the first thing I'm going to do is set the autopilot for the aircraft carrier and move it out of its starting position. I'm going to move to the square behind me. You really don't want your ship in its starting location. That's kind of easy for the enemy to find. So I'm going to initially move it anywhere. So I'm going to take off here in the torpedo bombers. And the thing about Tier 5 versus Tier 7 that you want to keep in mind, these are really improvements, I think, is the attack group is 3. The dive bombers, when we switch to them, you will see that they have 2 bombs each. So 10,000 potential damage per bomb times 2, which is a great improvement. And you have 3, so that's 6 total bombs, so you can rack up 60,000 points on one hit if you, I guess, hit the Citadel. So 15 planes will be on deck. The one problem, though, is you do have a reduced dive bomb time, so if you're in a dive bomb run for too long, you will pull up. You can see that I altered the autopilot because I'm seeing too many enemy ships over here. I'm going to take a run at this initial battleship right here. You can see I'm going to start the run around 4 kilometers from the ship, where with Tier 5 or Tier 3 I would normally start the run around 5 kilometers away. But because of the reduced dive time, I start at 4. And you can see I'm going to release the torpedoes at 1.6 kilometers. And it did kind of look like the battleship was turning away. So we're not going to get a hit on that. My entire flight got obliterated. So we went back to the aircraft carrier and got another flight of torpedo bombers. And we're going to go back out and find that group of battleships and take another run at them. There, I thought this was a cool view. There's some cinematography. The Lexington looks pretty cool with the wake behind it, steaming to its new location. Right, you can see the squadron is detected already, probably from this destroyer up here. But we're going to zero in on this battleship 7 kilometers away. He is facing us, but I found that with 3 torpedo bombers, a lot of times you will get hits, where with only 2 bombers you don't. So we're going to see how this goes. There you can see the 3 torpedoes went in the water. And my flight is getting wiped out again, but I do get 2 torpedo hits for 8,600 damage, which is great. So this is starting out pretty good. The faster torpedo speed does make a difference here, I think. And it's kind of noticeable because I am more successful with these torpedoes than I am with the Tier 3 or Tier 5. So we're going to go back to those battleships and take another look. You can see there's a Nelson that popped up there. We're going to zero in on that guy. Yeah, the Nelson is really steaming hard. Within 4 kilometers, there you go. I'm starting my torpedo run. And I'm aiming kind of farther ahead than I normally would. I'm sort of adjusted myself here. And 1.6 kilometers away, I let the torpedoes go. They have a 4-kilometer range. And I'm swinging around to take a look. And 3 torpedo hits. This is awesome. And I'm up to 23,000 damage already. 5 torpedo hits. I'm going to take another run. You can see how easy it is to swing around and try for another hit. This looks like it's going to be pretty good. I wait until 1 kilometer away this time because the Nelson was moving away. So I'm trying to account for that. So now I've switched to HE bombs, and we're going to take some runs at these battleships with the HE bombers. And the idea here is you want to start your run with the pipper slightly in front of the nose of the ship if you're going bow on to them. Like we've been doing, we've been going nose first. And that's what we're going to continue to do for pretty much the rest of the match. The one thing that I started doing is after my dive bomb run, when I come out of the dive bomb run, I start looking for opposing ships in front of me. So rather than swing around and take another shot at this guy, I may go straight ahead like that battleship behind the Nelson here. I may take a run at him. So this is not a Nelson, but okay, I hit him with 4 hits. And you can see I'm swinging around and I'm trying to go right at this other battleship here. I'm got 4 hits, looking pretty good. I'm thinking I can get some more hits here on this guy. And they're right on the nose, and that didn't work out that well. I only got 1 hit. I am up to 35,000 damage already. And I'm going to make another adjustment to the location of the aircraft carrier, trying to get farther away from the enemy team. You can look here on the mini-map. It does seem like they are trying to close in on me, so I'm going to be looking to get away from them some more. So here's the Nelson again. That other battleship was clearly not the Nelson. I guess that's the Fog of War. But it was a battleship. That's the important thing. So here we're coming up on the Nelson. You can see he's not making any evasive maneuvers. This looks like a good bombing run. One for the highlight reels. And you can see this is a perfect lineup almost. And there we do get 5 bomb hits, which is awesome, and 1 fire. So now I'm up to 47,000 damage, and this is looking like one of my better games in aircraft carriers so far. So this is really good, certainly in standard. So I'm going to come up and try to take another run at him. You can see he's drifting into where my aim point was. And right there, I'm going to try to get him for some more, and he does take 2 more hits and 1 fire. 53,000 damage and counting. 12 bomb hits, 5 torpedo hits. This is looking pretty good. So I'm changing the location of the carrier yet again because these guys do look like they're coming after me. So I am going to not make it easy for them. I'm going to get out of there. Luckily, this battleship right here is between myself and them. He doesn't have much health left though. And he does get taken out by the torpedo dive bomber, it looked like. So I'm going to take another run at the Nelson. He still hasn't really altered course. He's coming after me. And another perfect lineup here. And another 4 bomb hits and 2 fires. I'm up to 73,000 damage. This is awesome. I am going to swing around and try to finish him off here. You can see he's literally got nothing left. If you blow on him, he's going to be gone. So let's see if we can scratch him. 2 more hits and destruction. This is awesome. 74,000 damage. You can see that my team, though, we only have 2 ships left and the enemy has 5. So it's not looking like we're going to win the match at all, but at least I can maybe whittle them away and get some more experience and some damage. Right, so this looks like another perfect lineup. And we're going to get a miss. Big time miss right there. Going to take off again. You can see there's no problem with airplane regeneration on the Lexington. And here I'm making another move to the far corner of the enemy territory, because these ships are kind of closing in on me and this is getting a little too close for comfort. I did release some patrol fighters to protect my carrier because I did see a flight of the enemy bombers or torpedoes. I forget which one it was, but they were going toward my aircraft carrier. So this is looking good. These guys are stepping all over themselves and this is looking like a great lineup for me. Another 4 bomb hits. I'm up to 22 bomb hits, 5 torpedo hits. This is looking pretty good. Colorado's looking like he's ready to be destroyed right here, so I'm gonna try again. Maybe I can get another destruction. Not this time. So you can see I have 5 bombers loaded on the flight deck, so I'm gonna take off and go back. So now the enemy's team is whittled down to 3 ships and my team has 2 ships. So now I'm almost thinking, you know, the points are kind of overwhelming. There's no way we could overcome the points in 3 minutes, I don't think. So at one point I was thinking maybe I could win this match, but now I think there's really no way. Unless all of these enemy ships get destroyed. I don't think that's possible with just the aircraft carrier alone. But I think I can probably get this Colorado here because he is looking kind of thin. So here's another perfect lineup. And again, at the nose of the ship. Awesome. Another destruction, 3 bomb hits, 1 fire. I'm up to 86,756 damage. This is great. Hopefully we can get some more damage in 2 minutes. The enemy team is down to 2 ships, so my team is making some headway. The real problem is the point differential. You can see they have 880 points. We have 240. So they're going to win on points alone. Be interesting to see where I end up on the leaderboard because, you know, typically aircraft carriers, when they have good performance, they still end up on the bottom of the leaderboard. So it will be very interesting to see where we end up here when the match is all over with. I'm going to try to go after this battleship up here to get a little bit more damage. I sort of have no hope of winning the match, even though now we're down to 2 ships apiece per side. So this looks like a pretty good lineup. You see I got 1 bomb hit but 0 damage, and there you go, there's proof that you can get 0 damage from a bomb hit. I don't know if they calculated that it was a dud, probably calculated that it hit an area of the ship that caused no damage. I'm not really sure. All I know for sure is I got no damage. And there the match is over with. I did finish in 3rd place, which is, you know, kind of surprising. I did make 69,000 credits out of the match, so yeah, all in all, I think I'm really happy with the way the Lexington is worked out here, and I'm going to be thrilled to get more experience with the aircraft carriers in World of Warships Legends. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like it.